Alright guys, it's been a long wait, but finally back to Foxboro. Really like riding here. It's a tough place to ride. You never get a break. Plenty of rocks, roots. Actually a good place to tear up your bike. Let's try not to do that today. Taking Rich for his first laps through Gilbert Hills State Park. Check it out. You can see the trail here is technical and got plenty of rocks, but actually this is the smooth and easy part of the loop. Most of it is much rockier. There are some decent ups and downs, not huge hills, but steep grades, and quite a bit of work through a lot of rocks. Wasn't too wet. This is about as wet as it got, which is a welcome contrast to Franklin, and boy, it felt good to be back out here. I really enjoyed this New England terrain. There's no snow, no mud, just back to good old riding. Coming up here, the first kind of big test of Foxboro. This looks like a speed bump, but it's actually about the size of the desk that I'm sitting at right now. That is a major obstacle. Next big project on this little warm-up loop here is this section of slate. It's pretty tough. It's very slick, not really steep. There just isn't a lot of traction. It's dried out nicely and gets plenty of sun there. But this warm-up loop here is easy but representative of Foxboro as a whole. Lots of these really short, steep kind of technical sections linked with some rocky and more or less flowing trail. As usual, the GoPro flattens a lot of this stuff out, but this is pretty tough to walk through. And this drop-off coming up here, right there, it's probably about 2.5 feet. Maybe not 3 feet, but 2.5 feet. A real challenge, very different from Franklin, and a place where good suspension makes a huge difference. Rich was kind enough to let me ride his 2020 TPI 250 on this loop later in the day, and the suspension is so nice on that bike. Done by Factory Connection, really shines in this kind of stuff. Here we are strafing young kids with their mother and father, destroying the image of motorcyclists everywhere. Really?
Okay.
Oh, pretty cool.
Going up that hill, but I just like in front, like, and then I'm like in the woods.
So you were...
It should look good on this. I'm good.
All right. Okay, well, minor clarification there. We got that all worked out, and now we're into the heart of the Foxboro Loop. Cross back over the access road there, and then you're right into it. This is just so much fun, really enjoyable, very demanding, and for a guy with a job that demands a lot of your time and energy, being in here, man, this is the only thing you are thinking about. Totally focused on the trail, the bike, the terrain, and what you're going to do next. I mean, these roots, these rocks, one after another, coming out through this big tabletop. Ah, it's so cool. What a great place to ride. So on this particular ride, a little different from past rides. There was a little bit more of like, I don't know, competitiveness, a little back and forth with Rich, and which was really great. I enjoyed it, and I'm pushing. Comfortable, but pushing at maybe like almost enduro pace for me. Not quite. Not hair scramble pace. But I'm pushing. And it's working. I'm not crashing. I'm not scaring the crap out of myself. This section coming up here is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. This is, for me, pretty demanding, and you got to put the bike in the right place, you got to have your weight in the right place, and be making all the right applications of throttle, brake, that kind of thing. And right up here, this rocky section, I mean, this almost always gets me. But I'm getting right through, carrying good speed, feet on the pegs.
Right.
Of course, I did stop to make sure these guys were okay. But then right back at it. Just kind of feeling the flow. Really good. Okay, that line choice was so bad. I should have gone either far left or far right, and somehow made it through. Thank you, KTM 200. And thank you, momentum. Really important in that instance. So the rocks kind of ease up a little bit here, and we get into, I guess, I don't know if I would call it a transfer section, but there's, I don't know, a section 150 yards long without a lot of rocks at Foxboro. That's a transfer section. And we're zipping right along, and you can see as you watch it through, it's almost like one tricky section after another, really engaging and really demanding. Rip it up down this wide open section here, and actually when I get to this next junction, I check up just to make sure Rich is still with me. It's a little confusing part of the trail. Guess what, guys? Rich was not still with me. Doubled back. This is what I found.
I went down up that hill.
You have to fix that again?
Jammed it again. It was like bad. Like I tried to ride a little bit, but it was just, I couldn't. You can't.
No.
I'm like trying to like ride, but I was like, nah. If I just pulled over, I'm good now though. Thanks for
Sorry.
turning around. I high-sided. Like I couldn't put my foot down. You know what I mean? And it went like, bam. And I was like, I know. And then I jumped on and it's like, wham. I'm like, oh, I'll just catch up to him and we'll stop and do it. And then I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get hurt.
No. It's really scary actually when you...
Yeah, cause I'm like, I'm hitting the bumps. And you can let go and it drops, where it's like, blah, 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 and it like whiskey throttles you through it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna hurt myself more than I normally would. So, no, I'm good.
All right. No, I'm fine, fine. I haven't had too much.
Alright, here we are, dug the bike out of the ground. Rich's throttle is fixed. And we're back into a fast and flowing section. Leads up to some rocky climbs, of course, because it's Foxboro. Another one of the features of the loop here is this big step-up rock right in the middle of the trail. Yeah, I think you can kind of cut around it, but I like to go straight up the middle. And yep, that's probably 2.5 feet high.
What did I do that for?
As we all know, the silver lining of wiping out is that we get to get a little footage of Rich making his way through Foxboro. He told me after the ride he was really starting to learn the importance of standing up. And man, if you're going to learn that somewhere, it's going to be Foxboro. You really need the extra suspension of your legs and the ability to move your weight all around the bike. I am trying really hard to catch Rich through here, pushing like I said before. We get little snippets of him. I guess it doesn't help that the sight lines are kind of short, but still, I look forward to the day when I can get some really nice footage of him cruising through these trails. Doing my best to keep up here, or catch up. That's not working out too well. Might as well talk about the trail. There's some really good drop-offs here. This big rock, that's really big. It doesn't look that big, but those are some big stones we just ride right over. Mixed in with the drop-offs were a few muddy sections. Nothing too bad, not deep like Franklin, but like this, where keep the gas open, you can push your way through here. I did almost lose the front there, but kept it going. And if you look, you can just see Rich in the distance every now and then. One of the defining characteristics of Foxboro, in my mind, is that it just doesn't really let up. There may not be a super huge climb, but there's really no rest. Even these kind of intermediate sections just constantly putting you through the rocks, over the roots, and having just enough variety to always keep you pushing. This section here, one of the few sort of open areas, and just a little bit of a break before you're right back in the soup again. I love it. this tree kind of comes out of nowhere. Popped right over that, not too bad. Probably didn't need to slow down. It was more of a surprise than anything else. Some nice little jumps in here, and by little I mean little, just getting over those puddles. This leads down into a really wet section. It's wet today, it's wet almost every day. And then we start the first of the particularly technical climbs, which are a gas, in my opinion. Got to pick the right line. If you don't, you most certainly have to stop. But if you get it right, it's a great feeling. Notice, by the way, that however many times I've been to Foxboro, it's not like I'm catching Rich. He's doing a great job, and I'm doing what I usually do, which is ride slow. Anyway, here we go. First climb of the day. I shared some of the footage from last week's ride at Franklin with my friend Brian Gillen. He lives in Italy and runs manufacturing for MV Agusta. He said, keep your feet on the pegs, open the gas, don't slow down. I tried that in this section here, worked like a charm. I guess that's not surprising. Brian has some background in off-road riding. I think he rode in the Prairie Dakar and was a factory rider for Gas. I should probably take more of his advice. Yeah, so here we see one of the only ways I'm going to catch Rich today at one of the trail junctions, which he doesn't know to go left, right, or straight. He hasn't been here that many times before. So I take over and lead the parade for a while. It just so happens that this is one of the toughest parts of Foxboro. There are these like triple sections of really tough climbs like this, really technical. These are some big rocks. It's kind of steep here, and then at the end of each of these sections, there's a 90-degree turn and more technical stuff. It's a real combination thing. You got to keep your momentum and know where you're going. So it takes experience. Tough the first time through. This section right here too is really steep. Those are big rocks. A lot of effort to get over those, and then boom, 90-degree turn and you're right back in it. I was really happy to make it through here without putting a foot down. We transitioned to a little bit later in the loop, and making this video is kind of interesting because every time I went to try to pare it down, I came across another section that was pretty interesting and kind of tough. Like there's a big drop off there. You want to put that in the video. And then back right into these kind of tricky, tough, rooty climbs. Up and over and back down the other side. It's all good. But my riding didn't hold up forever. Man, this is a rocky section right here. Jeez, that's a good thing. The suspension is working well. Anyway, the riding did not hold up forever. Eventually, I did some dynamic soil testing. Not in this little water section here, though. That was really pretty and fun and not easy. Soon enough, though, the fireworks will begin.
Good?
Let's watch that one again, shall we? This was a big one for me. I'm going down the right side, I decided to go back to the left, and then changed my mind again. Hit that giant rock with my wheel cocked to the right. Did some big Superman steps and hit the dirt. No injuries. Groin still a little sore, but whew, I think I got away easy on that one. Coming up here, you see why you never want to crash in a race. Just listen to the effort. Just trying to get this stupid show back on the road. Oh, what a beatdown. Finally back underway, and right back into the tough stuff again. Hey, it's Foxboro. Sometimes it's as much the downhills as the uphills that beat you up. These are pretty steep, but it's just these big rocks and tough roots make it a real workout. Got to pick your line, and I've been trying to increase my roll speed down these, and I guess maybe get my weight back a little more and really soak up these bumps and fly down. I'm making progress bit by bit. Getting a little ragged there. Must be kind of tired, but make it through. Didn't have to stop. Quick check here just to make sure Rich is behind me, and then we're off to the races again. Still pretty quiet on the trail in terms of seeing other hikers and people and cyclists. We did see one guy up here, and he had a nice looking dog. We took it nice and easy when we rolled by him, just so we don't make things more antagonistic than there he is. Hi. Just so we don't irritate people more than we already do. So I'm happy to see that I get through there clean that time. That part does not look that hard, but for me it's really tricky. I often end up kind of in no man's land, hung up on a rock or something. But with good momentum, making it through just fine today. Also here, it's good to just keep pushing. You'll get through all this stuff. Just keep the gas on and your weight back. You can see coming up here, I'm totally exhausted now. And I get a little whiskey throttle, and if you listen closely, you'll hear my peg hit this rock. That is a close call with disaster. You could crush your foot, not to mention if your peg actually hits and doesn't fold, it'll put you right on your head. The humiliation, that's what hurts the most. See how tough all this stuff is. It takes a lot of energy on the bike, so I just crashed because I'm just beat, taking the wrong lines, and guess what? That's all the appetizer to one of the toughest little sections in the whole loop. This climb coming up here, you can just see it off to the left. Wish me luck. Alright, looks like I made it through. We got a little trailside perspective for you here too. Just to be clear, this is the easy downhill side of that climb. That's not the climb. It's actually harder than this part. Man, I am tired, and I don't hear Rich right behind me, so I'll take a little break. Ready? Oh, yeah, he's ready. So as a little reward for all that really hard technical stuff, there is this almost like a fire road section. Nice and open, really fast, a couple puddles, but nothing really to worry about. Finally, third, maybe a little bit of fourth gear through here. Just a nice breather, and well, you probably already guessed, and you're right back into the hard stuff. Here we go. this time the loop was kind of interesting. We had reached the point, or at least I had reached the point where I didn't really care anymore. I was too tired, and if I wiped out, I wiped out. It actually helps. You ride more smoothly, carry more speed, and geez, I don't know, maybe I should take that attitude all the time, right? This section is actually building to one of the toughest, most technical climbs on the whole loop, and I can almost never make it through here without wiping out or totally stalling out. And every once in a while some guy goes racing behind me in this section. Totally embarrassing. But today things went my way. Alright, this guy, like me so many other times, is already like trying to take a break. Granted, I get a little hung up because that guy was blocking my line, but check this out. I get back going, no problem, and he knows time to let the big dogs through. He takes a breather, cruise right to the top. Oh, man, that was a good feeling.
I'm not gonna lie, that felt good. I've been that guy 100 times. Finally, I got to be that fucking guy. So at this point you can see doing laps at Foxboro is not easy. Every part has a little challenge to it, a little unusual characteristic, some kind of technique you have to use to get through smoothly. The flip side of that is you make it through here with a nice flow, you don't crash a lot, keep up a good average speed. It's a great feeling. It really is a true test, in my opinion, and that's what makes it so much fun for us to ride. With about maybe half a mile left in the loop, just some real easy stuff. Used to be there was a big mud bog at the end, but as you'll see, they put in a nice little bridge. Good for them. I'm guessing that that's Netra, so thanks to those guys. Get out and do those trail work days, which coincidentally is how I met Rich. It's a good thing. I think I'm cooked. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm beat.
Oh, are you okay?
Oh yeah, I'm fucking gassed. I'm making so many fucking mistakes. Fucking flying W everywhere I go.
Yeah, you didn't make it up that hill though, did you?
No, you big 450. You see the wheelie? I did a wheelie.
That was awesome.
It was probably about that high off the ground.
No, it's huge.
Was it?
Did you do it on purpose?
Yeah.
Holy, nice.
It's trying.
Oh, I like
I got
that.
to about that point and scared the shit out of myself and slapped the back brake. Oh yeah, my arms are like spaghetti right now.
All right, good.
Which way is out?
Left. How's it going, guys? Rolling back into the parking area, you can see all the trucks, all the guys that we beat onto the trails, I guess. And, oh, you can hear me saying that I'm happy the beta is still there. Nobody stole that. That's good. Well, we managed 3 laps on this trip. It was a good one. Man, I'm still tired.